What's going on, guys? It's Phoenix back for another video, and hopefully I'm going to keep it short this time. First take was too long for a direct upload to YouTube. Second take, I ran on for about 2 minutes about the Pittsburgh Penguins game tonight because I don't like DC sports media. It's just everybody's acting like it's like glorious. The Capitals blew out the Penguins tonight. Just everybody in sports media can be really freaking poor sports. And gloating in a not really pretty win, a not really fun win, is just poor sportsmanship. Let's just be completely honest. So, yeah. So this is a video response to Josh BC Bionicle Combiner's latest video, where he basically talked about collecting last night, deluxes, their prices, and stuff like that. So yeah, I just want to do a response kind of along the lines of that. First off, Josh, I completely agree with you with the pricing for the last night deluxes. Hopefully it jumps back down to like 15 or so for the deluxes after these initial 4 that we're getting or so. But if it doesn't, like, the toys are just going to shelve for them. I'm going to be completely honest, because I've seen only maybe a handful of people buy them on various message boards and on YouTube and stuff like that at the $20 price. And frankly, that's just ridiculous. Oh, I saw the Barricade in stores yesterday or the day before. He looks fine, but not like $20. For me, it really boils down to, even more so than the whole like inflation, price gouging for a mediocre product with the last night stuff, to really like 3 things as to why I'm just stepping way back with my collecting. Basically getting only toys of characters that I like or that fill a hole in my collection. And a few other things. Well, let's just break it down. Pricing, which is kind of touched on with last night, but also it'll be touched on with another figure that I'll mention here in a second. Space, which I've talked about in a previous video, a response that I did a couple months back to Vigadeath. And honestly, just like the fun factor and overall appeal of collecting. I started collecting right around 2007, shortly after the D07 movie came out, so it's been about 10 years. And when it boils down to it, and I've been thinking this way since like halfway through last year, honestly, this is a fun hobby, but it's not like, unless you're very prudent with it, which I wasn't for the longest time, it's not really a financially sustainable one, unless you are somebody who grew up with the franchise in G1, and you're now in a very stable career, or even if you're like my age, in your late 20s, and you have a stable, very well-paying career, where you can get figures on the reg, and afford to pay a basically rent for an apartment, depending on your city, and then some, a month in buying plastic. Yeah, don't get me wrong, I'm looking at what I have on my desk right now. Times Return 6 Shots, Masterpiece Optimus Primal, Times Return Topspin, who actually just came in the mail today. Thank you, eBay. Masterminds Impactor. Also Masterminds, actually. No, sorry, Make Toys is Downbeat. Bad Cube Sun Surge, their Masterpiece Sunstreaker. And Fans Hobbies Masterpiece RID Scourge Car Robots by Convoy. I really like all those figures. The figures that are on my display over here, I really like. But it really comes down to, is it something that I'm going to pick up on occasion, fiddle around with, and mess with? Honestly, like, most of the stuff on my display in the other room, I haven't picked up and messed with really since I put it on that display. And those are all figures that I really like messing around with. I have a Generations Thundercracker, the Leader Class Starscream repaint, who's a remold of Leader Class Jetfire. Got him for Christmas a couple years ago because I wanted to get a Transformer for Christmas. He's cool, he's fun. I like that mold a lot, but I haven't really messed around with him since then. And it's, I don't know, it's just, for me, it's a matter of there isn't the same, like, fun factor when it comes to collecting and stuff as there was for me in the past. And this is a hobby that I mentioned, as I mentioned, I've just sunk so much money into. Honestly, with the overall cost of my collection, at some point a couple of years ago, I did do like an itemized list of my collection and like an approximate cost. I could honestly like have a much nicer apartment, probably on a freaking house at this point. That's how much money I've sunk into this hobby. And I don't know if it was honestly worth it. Don't get me wrong, I love the mythos, I love the figures that I have on display. But maybe this is just like not really like an end of collecting for me, but this is just like this hobby's form of an a midlife slash quarter life crisis, if you will, for me. I had my quarter life crisis 3 years ago when I was 25, and that was horrible. Oh my god. Um, but yeah, I know just a lot of the stuff, unless it's a character that I'm interested in getting, like I've got Titan's Return Sky Shadow, who I got off eBay for basically retail plus a little bit of shipping. The way the auction worked out, I ended up bidding basically retail for him. Um, but because he sold for like $2 less than that, because I bid up because that was the highest bid at the time, not my actual bid. I'm basically ending up getting him for basically retail plus like $5 shipping, which is a good deal. Um, Other than him and Overlord, yes, Overlord, and a few other figures from Titan's Return, I'm good. Maybe I'll get the box set at some point. The box sets that are out, the Velocitron set and the other one. But I'm not really in a rush. I have Topspin. I actually really like Topspin, but he's in that niche of if there's a Wrecker's toy out there, I'm going to get it. I'm probably going to end up getting Mastermind Creations Roadbuster at some point. He's honestly probably going to be a convention purchase because I'm going to be at TFCon USA in DC this fall. But I don't know. For me, it just boils down to I don't know if there's the same like attraction to this hobby as there was, both because of the price of some of the stuff and space and just wanting to phase out from collecting a little bit. Hell, most of the stuff that I have in storage and most of the stuff that I have on display, which is granted all older figures from various movie lines, animated, a couple alternators, and all that stuff, at my childhood home, I'm probably gonna end up selling some of that stuff in the immediate future, minus the ones that I have sentimental attachment to. But I don't know, just I lost my train of thought there. Sorry. Hopefully that all made sense. I think the perfect example of this for me is MP36 Masterpiece Megatron. When I think about it, I had him on pre-order. He came off of pre-order, at least over on Toy Dojo. Honestly, a little earlier than I expected he would. He came off of pre-order, I think it was the beginning of last month over on Toy Dojo. And because of his price, I'm like, oh, I can't pay that right now because I have other stuff that I need to figure out, and I just had other more important things to finance. So Toy Dojo let me cancel my pre-order, and they said, great, just let us know if you need anything from us going forward. Very great company. I love ordering from them. Half the stuff that I have on display on my desk, I've ordered from them. Mainly because for basically equivalent shipping to big bad toy stores, you get the figure in like 2-3 days. And they just have great customer service. But so I've sold a couple of figures recently. I sold my Transformers Collectors Club Runabout and Run Amok from 2011 to a local collector. Got $100 US for the pair. Good deal. I was going to use that $100 plus some other money that I had sitting in PayPal to get Masterpiece Megatron for more or less around what Masterpiece Inferno and Masterpiece Shockwave have cost when they've come out recently. But the more I sat and thought about it, as much as Masterpiece Megatron plugs a hole in my collection, because he really does, and the toy looks really great, I couldn't really justify spending or having a. It would have been like 200. It was like 240, we'll say, just for the sake of round numbers. Um, Before the PayPal thing and everything. So I couldn't really justify having basically roughly $133 hit my credit card for a figure that honestly I was maybe going to have on my desk for a month, if that, and he was going to go on a shelf and I wasn't going to mess with him again. I don't know. It just, I couldn't really justify it. So I ended up transferring that money to my bank, and that money is going to be used to pay for other things that aren't this hobby. So, yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that I'm now considering when it comes to this hobby: pricing of figures, space, and just several other things. So just an overall aesthetic that I want to go with going forward as a person who likes collecting figures occasionally, but as a young adult in his late 20s who doesn't exactly want to be known as the guy who has transforming robots all over his apartment. I want to have a slightly more mature aesthetic. I'll put it that way. Yeah. Hopefully that all made sense. I'm going to end this video here because it's already long enough as it is. So, thanks for watching, guys. Comments, feedback, whatever, below. Do a video response if you want. Yeah.